Hello everyone. Ooh, hello everyone. Hopefully you can hear me now. I just put my thing on. Michelle here, session 3. Thank you for everybody who's joining me. This is the final session for the first set. Then once we've done this session here in this room, we have 1 hour break, and then we'll start again in our Skies country. So right now here in Egypt time, it's 12:30. We'll finish up here around 1 o'clock, and then we'll be back here at 2 o'clock. So just keeping you in the loop and keeping you informed. Now, in this room is our Success Hub. So the idea for the virtual co-working space in this room is about training, coaching, mastermind, mentorship, all that kind of good stuff. So again, this is the space where I teach and I share things and do things with you, but also don't forget you can also come in here and do your own presentations and do your own talks or whatever it is. So I have a video to share with you today because today's topic is about 3 steps to your first client, or it could be the next client, or it can be any kind of client. So these are 3-step principles that you can find inside the freelancer program. Now, just so you know, the freelancer program is a program that I put together for how to start a virtual assistant business. Okay, it's the very, very basic first kind of course that I usually start people on when they're coming fresh into how do I become a virtual assistant? How do I start my virtual assistant business? It's a very sort of like comprehensive course, but it's also very basic, and I really try to be, hi Maria, I really try to be quite sympathetic in the freelancer to people starting out in terms of I made the course very, very low budget for people just starting out who don't want to invest a lot into systems and, things like that. So that's one thing about the freelancer. And I do a full coverage inside the freelancer, right from the systems to the setting up to even, putting your copy together and putting the dynamics of the business together. Hey, Angela. Right through to then going into the process of how you're going to set that business up, how you're going to get your first client, and then how you're going to operate afterwards. So it's a small course for a startup. So that's what the freelancer is, for those of you who aren't aware. Hi Dale, welcome. And this video that I put in here is to demonstrate this room, the Success Hub. It's a coaching and training center. So what we want to do in here is every month we're going to do at least one session that is teaching you a class or doing some training, and it's going to obviously be related to your virtual assistant business. When we did the beta testing of the virtual co-working space, I did a training series of 7 parts, which was all about the core principles of running your VA business, and that's in the archives in the virtual co-working space. But today we're looking at the 3 steps to your first client. So what I want to do is demonstrate to you a couple of things inside this room. So right now you'll see me in the presenter bubble. I will turn my camera off when we're playing videos so you can focus and concentrate on the video. And we also have the ask a question. So what you would tend to do is, if you're coming into a training session inside this room with me or with somebody else who's in the co-working space, you will come in and just take a seat in one of the grey circles. If you're presenting it, you'll be in the presenter circle where I am right now. And if you want to ask a question, all you have to do is click on the black dot in the ask a question circle and you'll jump into there. Now, if you want to ask a question, just jump into that circle. I'll find a moment where I can, have a collaboration, discuss that question with you and find out what that question is, and then we can answer it and then we can go on. And then once you've had the answer to your question, you can jump out into one of the grey circles just in case anyone else would like to ask a question. Simple, but I felt the need to explain that. So, and again, you can exit from the exit area, but for now, we're going to start watching a 12-minute video. And usually what I will do my training session. If there's a video involved, I'll play the video or I'll do a presentation. In this case, I'm doing a lot of talking today, so I will be playing the video It's about 12 minutes long, and then after the video we can have a discussion about the video and everything that's been learned in it. So you're welcome to ask questions or leave something in the chat. It's up to you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close off my camera, and then I'm going to play the video, and I'll see you in about 12 minutes.
Hi and welcome to Virtual Miss Friday. My name is Michelle Dale. I am the founder of virtualmissfriday.com and the creator of One Sourcing. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through 3 steps to getting your first client. And not just your first client, really. You can use this to basically as your main primary marketing method to get clients in your business. So let's get started. I want to share with you something like my first journey of starting out, getting my first clients. And I can honestly say throughout the years, they have come from a complete variety of places. My first client was basically me offering to help an old colleague I used to work with for free because I was so lacking in confidence at what I could do because I'd never done this online thing before. And this was back in 2005, so it's many, many years ago. And I really wanted to gain confidence because without that, I knew that any kind of marketing that I would do wouldn't be as effective. So I highly recommend if you are somebody who's extremely nervous about going out there and getting your first client, do something for free to start with, just to get that confidence and to get a testimonial so you can really start getting off and running. But I'm not here to teach you how to get clients for free. I'm teaching you how to get paying clients. So basically, once you do that, you get the confidence and you can start moving on to getting paying clients through this method that I'm about to share with you. So my first paying client came many, many years ago, before the age of social media, from a directory online. It was an online business directory, and the only outlet really that I could get clients from was these kind of directories, because back then there was really no other outlet. There was no Facebook, there was no Twitter, there was nothing like that. So I put myself in any and all business directories, and basically somebody came and contacted me, and that's how I got my first client. Now the reason I'm sharing this story is because how did you get your first client is one of the most asked questions that I get on podcasts and interviews. So I wanted to share that with you, that actually it came from these internet-based business directories, but I would say that is not the most effective way to get your first client online. These days, with social media and networking groups, you would think that getting clients is a lot easier. And I'm not saying it isn't. It actually is a lot easier to get clients these days. But the approach that you take to marketing through these tools can very much greatly influence your success in the online space. The reason I say this is because a lot of people will get the idea that I go onto LinkedIn, I get a load of connections, I go onto Facebook, I get a load of connections, and I pitch my services to them. And then what you get, and I get a lot of these, which I completely ignore most of the time, is just emails from people either wanting to send me their CV, asking me for a job, or they will write this very cheesy email introducing the we and the company and things like that. There's nothing personal in it whatsoever. It just looks like a round robin email. And sometimes they haven't even included my name or anything like that. Now, I'm sure you're quite a savvy person and you wouldn't do that yourself. But if you are thinking about, well, what is the best approach to get clients on social media, I would like to share it with you. So some common ways that virtual assistants market through social media, and I see these often, is first of all setting up a Facebook advert to send traffic to, and then hoping that the traffic will make an inquiry. So I've seen VAs do this. Also posting blog posts onto their site and then sharing those in Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, and kind of repurposing that content through the internet, and then hoping that a potential client is going to see that blog post and then immediately contact them. Again, it works, but it's not the most effective. There is also contacting connections and telling them about your virtual assistant services and asking if you can give them any help. So let's say I'm a client and you contact me and you say, I'm a virtual assistant, here are my services, can I help you? Okay, so that's another way that people do it. It's very, very hit and miss. I'm not saying it doesn't work again, like I'm very much a believer in facts and belief, and I believe that people have actually got clients through this method. However, it's not the most effective. And also trying to educate people on what a virtual assistant is. So I see a lot of VAs out there trying to promote virtual assistants in terms of how it's going to help the people, in a more generic sense, and things like that. Now, these are very common ways to market your virtual assistant business on social media or your freelance business on social media. But as a freelancer, you will find that there is a lot of time and energy and effort that has to go into these methods, and they are not the most effective. They are certainly the most common. So none are bad or wrong, like I said, but standing out on their own, they aren't effective as a way to get clients. So what's the most effective form of drumming up business online? It is this. It is demonstrating to potential clients that you can see things they can't. Now, if you can communicate that to any potential clients, then you are on to a winning strategy for getting clients in social media. I'm going to say this again because it's very, very important. The way you do it is by demonstrating to potential clients that you can see things that they can't. So, here is a summary of this 3-step process of how you can very clearly communicate and implement this process in your own freelancer business. Step 1 is I be selective with who I contact when I use this method. And this is one of my own methods, and it is definitely the most effective method I've ever used. Which means I'd never wait for leads to come to me through blog posts I'd posted or social media posts I posted, but I'd go out and I'd pick the leads I wanted to work with through the internet, through different networks and social networks. And then I basically go and connect through those networks, and I would start building a community and I would start building an audience. So it is effective to do blog posts, to share your content, to do podcasts, to do interviews, to create pieces of content that demonstrate your expertise and tutorial videos and YouTube videos and things. But don't sit there and then wait for things to come to you from it. Do that as a means to build authority as a freelancer, to build authority in your field of expertise. But don't think that it's the primary means of I'm going to create this content and then someone's going to contact me. What you need to do is use that as a way to build authority. So when you go out and you contact those leads, then someone's going to check you out and go, wow, this person's amazing. Step 2. So let's say I decide to look at 10 leads a day, and I go out and I say, right, I'm going to find potentially 10 people who I would like to work with in a day, 10 potential clients. I go to each one and I would look over their website, I would look over their social media, I'd sign up to their newsletter, I would sign up for any free courses they had. I would pretty much dive into their entire online business as best I could to the best of my knowledge, starting from where I was. And I was almost always able to find some sort of a problem. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the things that clearly they haven't seen, because there might be typos, there might be grammatical errors in text. It might be a video that you've watched that isn't quite edited right. It could be a process in a sign up, or it's not just problems, but also how you can add a value. So like, you're not doing enough right now. You could be doing more. You could be making the customer experience better. This is what I suggest. You've got to find things that you can either solve or things that you can improve on. Step 3, I then contact them either via email or social message or video message, letting them know how much I enjoyed visiting their site and the action that I took there. So I say, like, I went and I signed up for your article, or I subscribed to a YouTube channel, I watched a bunch of your videos, I love this playlist, that type of thing. So get really, really specific. I then broach the problem that I found, or the solution, or the thing that I could resolve or improve. And then I'd mention that I wanted to make them aware of it, and also share, because my line of work is to basically help people fix that. So if they need assistance, don't hesitate to ask. So it's a very indirect way of pitching your services and kind of getting them onto a consultation with simply through giving them the opportunity to see something that was a problem in their business that they weren't aware of before, and who's not going to thank you for that? Whether they become a client or not, You've helped someone, and that's all good karma, and they're going to thank you for it, and they'll probably be very grateful to you for it also. But not only that, it's also showing people how things could be improved, which is again something that they simply haven't seen before. How their process could be improved, their sign up, how their email letter template could be improved, how they structure their emails could be improved, how they structure their blog posts, anything like that, how they do their social media, how they provide their customer support. It could be anything, but it's just about providing them with something that they didn't see before that's going to either solve a problem in their business or help them improve their business, contacting them about it. And it doesn't take that long to do either when you consider how effective this could be. And when you commit to a target of doing so many of these so many times a day, you most likely will get a fair number of responses and eventually a paying client. It just takes a little bit of perseverance, a little bit of consistency, and you will find that it really starts working. The best way to approach this is to do it in the most genuine way possible, the most genuine fashion, not like a sales pitch. You're not trying to sell to anyone, you're simply trying to help people and share your skills with them, initially for free, because you're going out there and you're finding something that you can help them with for free. You're just letting them know about it, and then you're offering, hey, if you would like to talk to me about this, I'd be happy to do that for you. So honestly, it's never failed to work for me, and it's the simplest and most effective client generation method I've been teaching for many, many years. But don't just take my word for it. Check out this video on the YouTube channel from Dan Greason of VA Lifestyle Design, and he's basically going to go into how this method has been working for him.
Something that I've done and I've had pretty good success with it. We learned it from a lady, Michelle Dale, Virtual Miss Friday. We did a course of hers a few years back, and we're still in the course. Actually, it's an excellent course. Totally recommend it. But she just do little short videos for people. So I've started trying that, and it's so effective. 100% response.
So the excellent part of this process is that you should never ever feel like you've ever wasted your time. You almost have always helped someone else uncover an issue in their business that they can fix themselves, or you can fix for them. And that would also help to improve their business, increase their revenue, and all that good stuff. So it's never wasted time. It's all good juju, and it's all waiting in the wings. So help someone today, and the karma can come back from a different place tomorrow, but it will eventually get returned. So never think about what you're going to get and who you're going to get to work with you, but it's all about who you're going to give to deliver the good turn back to you by some other means. I hope this helps, and thank you so much for listening to this video, and I would love to hear your questions and comments below.
Okay, guys. Oh. Hello, welcome back. I hope you found that super helpful. And like I say, I injected in there some feedback from one of the people I've worked with who's been using this method, and I've worked with a lot of VAs who use this method, and it really is the best form of doing very proactive outreach. Now, there's so many other ways that you can get clients, and there's all of these ways can be found inside my training. But the freelancer is really the one where it's about, I know when you start a VA business, you're really looking for, to get that first client as quickly as you possibly can and in the best way that you possibly can. And like I said in there, demonstrating that you can see things that the client cannot is the primary key to unlocking them coming back to you and being interested. It's about when you suddenly show them things that they couldn't see before. Now, I know with some VAs it's easier than others to be able to do that, because some of us, we're dealing much more with the front end of the business and the visual aspect of the business, and then others are dealing more in the back end with, especially the EAs and PAs and things like that. But always there's a way that you can figure out a way to find how to do something like this if it requires a little bit of adapting or sorting or something like that. So does anybody have any questions? We have about 10 minutes left of this session before we take a 1 hour break. So if anybody has any questions and wants to jump in the ask a question spot, come on camera, it's fine. Angela says, when using the reaching out method to find new clients in this way, how do you go about choosing which businesses to reach out to? Is it simply focusing on the kind of businesses you'd like to work with? Yes, 100%. I always focus on the kind of businesses I would like to work with, but I always think about my services and who those services will be best suited to, who needs them the most, who would really get the most value out of using the service. I'll give you one example of one of the things I did using this method, and it resulted in a long-term client who I eventually passed on to one of my colleagues. So basically what happened was I was going on I think it was Facebook or LinkedIn. No, I was on LinkedIn. And at the time I was looking to work with people in the medical field and medical profession. Years ago, I worked in hospitals, and I thought to myself, okay, well, you know, these people in the medical profession, a lot of them are earning good money. They'll be able to pay my rates. You know, there were several factors involved in that process. And I came across this psychologist, and I decided to go and check out his business. So I just looked on his LinkedIn profile, and I looked on his other social accounts, and I eventually came across his Facebook page. And I noticed that his Facebook page was not really very well branded. It had a very old style header on it and things like that. And I thought to myself, wow, a lot more people would follow him and join his page and take him a lot more seriously if he had like a really nice designed header. So I went back on LinkedIn, and I used the LinkedIn in mail actually, because he wasn't a contact of mine. And I just said to him, you know, like I saw you on LinkedIn, and I particularly love to work with people in the medical profession or the psychology profession. And I was just checking out your business, and I went over to your Facebook page, and I just realized that if you had a different presentation on your Facebook page, I think you would get a lot more followers, and I think you would, you know, really find that it works a lot better for you. And he wrote back and he thanked me so much, and he said, okay, well, what would you suggest I do? And I said, let's just redesign the header. And at the time I was charging like $99 for $100 or something. I said, could you let me redesign the header? It's just $100, and I think you'll really like what I have to make. So he just came back and said, yeah, sure. And then from that small interaction, it took me 2 minutes to find this problem, you know, that I wanted to help him with. He came back, we did this $100 project, and then I went on from there to redevelop his website. He then wrote a book, he became an author, he was featured on Oprah. I helped him with all the book launch stuff during that time. We then added more things to his website because his book was translated into multiple languages. I didn't know this guy was from Adam, I just knew that he was somebody that I was going to reach out to. And again, you know, a lot of this stuff is not necessarily logical for me. When I focus on my accountability and my daily stuff, and I focus on my goals, I tend to start searching for things, or, you know, I'll go online and I'll go in this rabbit hole, and people will just pop out to me, and I'll think, okay, I'll reach out to you, or I'll talk to you. I think you're somebody I need to speak to. And then 9 times out of 10, it all sort of flows and comes together from there. So for me, it's really about just focusing on who would I like to work with, what jobs would I like to do for that person. And usually you can go in with something very small and it will turn into something very big. And then eventually the client did get quite big. He was doing regular work with us. And then I switched into another system, website development system, which he didn't want to transfer into. And then I found another VA inside my one sourcing training, and I handed the client over to her, and she took that client over. But he was a great client for many years. So I hope that helps with that question. We have 5 more minutes if anybody wants to ask anything else. But it's so interesting. Clients can come from so many ways. In one of the afternoon sessions, inside our home office, the afternoon session inside the home office, which is at 2:45, I'll be talking about another client of mine. I'll be going through how I kind of piece my services together in an operational sense, and I'll talk also about where that client came from and how that came about. But it's really interesting where clients come from and how they come to you. And a lot of it, yes, you can be very proactive with getting clients, but a lot of it is really about getting super clear on who you want to work with and what you want to do for them and how much you want to be paid for that work. And then just kind of following intuitive guidance and intuition about if you come across a technique. I always say to people in my training, I offer lots of techniques on how to get clients. Multiple different ways of being able to get clients. You can draw clients to you in a more magnetic sense. You can be very proactive and you can go and outreach to clients. There are many ways to get clients, and I say you've got to really go with the method that resonates with you more instinctually, the method that you're drawn to, the method that you think, oh, I'd feel comfortable doing that, because not everybody is comfortable with everything. And the Darren Greason testimonial or the feedback, I actually just randomly found that on a video once. And it was really nice to see, because I knew he was in the program and I'm glad he was using the technique, but he really got stuck on video messages. I would say to people, don't type out, you can contact people on LinkedIn and write them a message. But what's really impactful is if you just record a 1 or 2 minute video, maybe screencasting their website or their social media platforms or their ebook or whatever it is that you want to help them with. And they can actually get the video and see their own content inside the video. It's super successful for engagement and communication and response. Okay, so 1,000,000 times, and I'm going to be discussing this in a lot of the other sessions inside the festival, Monday through Thursday, about the approach that people take when they're trying to pitch a service and things like that. And you get this, you get it in my groups as well. Like, I'm here, I do these services, hire a virtual assistant, it's so generic, it's so impersonal, and I just ignore them. Most of them are filtered out into, my spam or, non-friends list or something like that. But if somebody sent me a video of my own staff saying, hey, I think you should do this and this and this, and would you be interested, I'll do a quote for you, like, I would be, that's cool. Like, you care. And I think that caring aspect generally comes across when you use this method with people. So get a little screencast thing. You could use Canva even, make a little presentation for people, make a little tiny video and send it to people that you really want to work with. Find something first, obviously, use the steps and send it to people that you really want to work with, and just watch and see what comes back. The response rate you get will be incredible. You can send out 50 cold messages to people with generic, introducing your business stuff and not receive a single response back. You can send out 5 of these and probably receive 4 responses back. That's why I say it's actually a lot quicker and less time consuming than you would think, because you have to actually reach out to a lot less people. So I hope that helps. We've got a couple of minutes left inside this room if anybody wants to ask a question or give me any feedback or anything like that. It's nice to see you guys here. And just so you know, we will be back here. It's now 1 o'clock my time, and we will be back here at 2 o'clock my time, and we'll be in the Sky Sanctuary room for the next session. If anybody likes tarot or talking about intuitive guidance or your higher self, your intuition, then definitely this next session is for you. Big believer in all of that stuff. I consult cards a lot when I'm making decisions and things, and I do a lot of readings for other people too. So thank you, Angela. Really super glad you found this helpful, and really looking forward to the next session. So we will close out this one. I will try to, for those of you who are in virtual co-working space, I will try to get some replays in for you if I can in the next hour, because obviously there's going to be lots of people who have missed these things because of time zones and stuff. But I do really appreciate you guys who have been here And I look forward to seeing you this afternoon in the Sky Sanctuary in about roughly 1 hour. So go and make a coffee, have a little break, have something to eat, and I'll see you back here soon. Thank you so much.